Hey, what's up, soldiers? My name is GregFPS, the Zombies Extraordinaire, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Zombies Top 10, where today, guys, we're taking a look at the top 10 best cutscenes in Treyarch Zombies history. There are so many of them. There's an abundance, and it was really hard to narrow it down to 10, of course, but I did my absolute best. This is my personal opinion, so you guys can get triggered and roast me in the comments section if you guys want. That's totally fine. Also, if you have any top 10 ideas you want to see here on the channel, you can comment those down below as well. But if you do go on to enjoy the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. I post videos every single day and it's a lot of work, so I would really appreciate it. Anyways, without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the list. Coming in at the number 10 spot, guys, is going to be the intro to Call of the Dead in Black Ops 1. Now, George Romero is obviously one of the main components of Call of the Dead, so when he gets taken by a zombie, it's kind of shocking. Like, you don't expect it, but it's really cool to have him on the map, of course. And then all the other main characters are messing with Johnny England and, you know, messing him up, and then Sarah Michelle just comes over and literally like drop kicks him, which is hilarious. So I think it's really good, and I really like how all the celebrity cast, being the first one, it kind of introduced all the characters, and it was really cool to see a cutscene for this map. So for that reason, it comes in at the number 10 spot. Coming in at the number 9 spot is going to be the outro, or when you complete the Easter egg on Forsaken. Now, of course, there's a ton of stuff going on in this cutscene. Like, all the main people that we fell in love with through the Dark Ether storyline got arrested, all the playable characters, all that sort of thing. It was really interesting, and I really enjoyed the ending. But the thing that really stuck out to me was obviously when we saw Richtofen was the director. Like, we kind of expected it from the beginning, but at the same time, when he just turns around and gives that smug smile, we're like, hell yeah, bro. I cannot wait for 2024 when the next Treyarch game comes out and we can finally see what's going on. We also saw Dr. Peck, who went 5 years like past that point in the Pacific and near Japan, to obviously have something to do with those rockets that we launched after beating the boss fight, the first Outbreak Easter egg. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'm really excited to see where the story goes, but this cutscene really set it up perfectly, so it comes in here at the number 9 spot. Coming in at the number 8 spot, it has to be the Gorod Krovi intro cutscene. This is by far one of my favorite cutscenes of all time. We get Ace of Spades by Motorhead, absolute banger of a song. We get to see the 1.0 version of Nikolai drinking vodka in a mech suit, which we did not expect at all. And that was really cool. And of course, when you have Peter McKay just randomly falling and happens to have a parachute, it just works out so great. So I think personally this cutscene is so sick. And of course, you can't forget the dragon that literally picks up Nikolai and whips him into a building, which is pretty funny. So I think this cutscene is absolutely amazing, and it had to be on the list, and it comes in at the number 8 spot. Coming in at the number 7 spot has to be Mob of the Dead. Of course, we get introduced to the badass mobsters in the 1930s, which is so cool, but they're literally stuck in an everlasting purgatory, and it's so cool to see all the characters. Rusty Cage adds so much to the map, and all the characters die, which represents the purgatory that they're in, that keeps on recycling over and over. And I just love everything about this cutscene. Like, the kills that the mobsters get are so badass. You have, of course, Ferguson stand up, and the players are just constantly shooting him with pistols. It's just so badass. I love this cutscene, and it really encapsulates Mob of the Dead overall, and it just gives me that iconic feeling. Whenever I hear Rusty Cage, like, I just think of Mob of the Dead straight away in the intro cutscene. So it comes in here at the number 7 spot. Coming in at the number 6 spot has to be one that pulled on everyone's heartstrings, and that is the Zetsubou Noshima outro cutscene. This one definitely was super emotional. I remember when I completed it for the first time, because it was the first time that we saw original Takeao come face to face with Primus Takeao, and Primus Takeao realizes that the Emperor was someone that he was blindly following, but he was actually the one that sent the Ultimus version of Takeo to that island to basically become an experiment. And it's really interesting to see like both of those characters. And then when of course Takeo ends up killing the previous version because he was asked by Ultimus Takeo, it was really emotional, and it was a great overall cutscene. And we also saw that the characters went to Mob of the Dead as well to get the blood vials. So after beating the Easter egg, you see the blood vials on the characters, which is really cool, and it kind of set up everything moving forward. So definitely a very interesting cutscene, and it comes in here at the number 6 spot. Coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be the ending to Ancient Evil. We get to see that the Oracle was actually Medusa the entire time, which a lot of people thought before. Like, we already knew that it was something weird like that, but obviously we noticed that Alistair Rhodes is literally a rock. He was obviously looked upon by Medusa and frozen in time. And we also see our boy Diego save Scarlet. I don't think we'll ever see this storyline again, which is really a shame, because I was really looking forward to everything that we were going to get from that crew and from that storyline. But unfortunately, I think it's over. But still an amazing cliffhanger, really good one. And I would have loved to see more maps from the Chaos storyline, because it was so unique and so different than anything we had seen before. But overall, the cutscene's pretty cool. Medusa learns a lot from Scarlet when she basically like kisses her. That's how apparently like knowledge was transferred through Greek mythology. So pretty interesting stuff, and it comes in here at the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 4 spot is my favorite ending to a zombie storyline, and that is the Revelations outro cutscene. Now, I'm not really into like the whole Sophia and Maxis thing, but I love that the characters are going around in a cycle, and we finally see that premise picture at the end, which you can find scraps of paper on Origins in order to show that picture. So it was really cool to see that it was just a cycle that the characters were in, and I really love that. Like, I was so happy with the way that Black Ops 3 ended, and I think that honestly it's my favorite ending when it comes to Call of Duty Zombies in general, that they were just in a cycle. Obviously things changed in Black Ops 4, and we didn't even go to Gorod Krovi or anything. We just went to Blood of the Dead, and you know, it's kind of crazy that that whole storyline kind of just got retconned a little bit. But I did like the whole thing about a loop in the story recycling over and over, and I think that was just a great way to end the storyline for Black Ops 3 and kind of put like a perfect brackets around the story, like Jason said so many times. So it comes in here at the number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 spot is going to be the ending cutscene to Origins. Now, we get to see Samantha and we get to see Eddie, and they're playing with the characters, which is so funny, and it's really cool. Like, I loved this cutscene. Of course, it confused everyone. Everyone was like, what's going on here? What's up with that? Oh my gosh, this is a game the entire time? Are you serious? But honestly, I do really like the cutscene. We get to see Fluffy and all that stuff. And of course, when we learn later on in like ZNS that that's when Monty came and knocked on the door at the house, and we get to see the house for the first time as well. And like all the different things around Samantha's room are all things that we had seen before, of course. So that was really cool to see. We also saw the Victus characters, and that it was going to be Eddie's turn next and all that sort of thing. So it was such an interesting cutscene, and it's really funny when little Ricky says to Samantha, girls don't know enough about zombies. I think it's a pretty big triggering moment for her, which is pretty funny. But anyways, guys, it comes in here at the number 3 spot. All right, guys, coming in at the number 2 spot, we're going to be returning to Origins yet again for the intro cutscene. Oh my goodness, is this thing one of the most badass intro cutscenes of all time. It is so sick. We get Shepherd of Fire, of course, everyone's like one of the most iconic Avenged Sevenfold songs pertaining to zombies, if not the most iconic. And honestly, this whole cutscene was just so sick. Like, we get to see that they're excavating the area, and then that like Templar zombie runs out and like pulls off the guy's head, and it's just so cool to see. all the people doing excavating and all that stuff and just get absolutely murked by zombies, which is so cool. And obviously it's like the war-torn area of World War One in 1918, so it just fits so well, and it was such a badass intro, so it had to come really high on the list, and it comes in at the number 2 spot. All right, guys, now it's time for a few honorable mentions. The first one is going to be the intro cutscene to Revelations, when we get to see all the kids in the house. We also get to see Richtofen and the rest of the crew teleport to the basement of the house. We see Maxis, we see Richtofen and Maxis hugging together. And then, of course, we see Dr. Monty and all that stuff. And then the Shadow Man escapes and turns the whole landscape of the entire map into Revelations, which honestly, I think it's a great intro cutscene. It's just so hard to pick 10. Next up on the list is going to be the classified intro cutscene. It's so good, man. I love everything about this cutscene. It's so colorful and vibrant, and we get to see what ended up happening, why the crew went from Shangri-La to the Pentagon, and then they went to the moon afterwards. We get to see Samantha send Yuri Zavoyski like through the portal and everything like that. It was really interesting. Of course, Dempsey had to shoot the baby gun at the portal and send him there, but overall, very cool to see that. And last but not least, guys, is the giant intro cutscene from Black Ops 3, when we get to see the Primus version of Richtofen murk the Ultimus version of Richtofen, just shoot him in the head. That was one of the most iconic moments, I think. I remember Milo's shocked face when this happened, and I would love to see joy come from everyone in the community again after seeing that cutscene. It was so funny, but overall, definitely an awesome intro cutscene. So now it is time for the number 1 spot. Coming in at the number 1 spot has to be the Blood of the Dead outro cutscene, when Richtofen dies and he was the nicest one. And I remember watching this for the first time and I cried. I know a lot of other people cried as well, because we were so emotionally invested in everything that Richtofen had done. And you know, it turns out that the blood vials didn't even matter. They weren't supposed to be used. And then we see that it was going to end up being Nikolai who is going to be the leader after that. And it was so interesting to see that, but it's really sad that we saw Richtofen die. And having the Templar one just pop out was really unexpected, to just have like another cryo chamber there that he just popped out of. It was really interesting to see. But overall, I do think that it was a great way to end that Richtofen's life in a way. They used the blood to portal out of there, and that was it. That was all that we got to see of that specific Richtofen. So anyways, guys, that is going to be the top 10 best cutscenes in Treyarch Zombies history. There are so many good ones, guys, that I thought should be included. It's so hard to narrow it down. There's a bunch of great Chaos Story ones when all their heads get chopped off. Twice that ends up happening. Of course, like Dead of the Night outro cutscene is great. The intro cutscene is great. Like all the Chaos cutscenes were actually awesome, and I think that Treyarch really missed the mark with like Tag and Alpha Omega having like the comic strip style art design. It just did not work, man, and it sucks, because I thought the Tag ending was pretty good as well, but I just don't think that they hit the mark with that one. Like that should have been the one that they focused CGI time on the most. And when it wasn't a CGI ending cutscene until Samantha and Eddie are just walking, it totally killed the vibe for me, honestly, and I was really disappointed. But overall, guys, that is going to be the top 10 best cutscenes in Treyarch Zombies history. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.